Hello, and welcome to a very quick episode of Set Lusting Bruce. I'm recording this on February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday, and late last night, the thing we thought would never happen dropped. Bruce Springsteen in a Super Bowl Sunday ad. The rumor had been flying around that he may do an ad, and sure enough, late Saturday night, the ad for Jeep dropped. And oh my goodness, today, Sunday, it is making the Springsteen online community go crazy. A lot of good things about it, a few insightful things said about it, some criticism about it. I asked for a couple people to send in requests or their thoughts on it, and I thought I'd start out with Camille, uh, who is going to be an upcoming guest on the show. Camille does a radio show every Friday, and I really liked what she had to say. Her answer got cut off a little bit, um, but here is Camille Conte.
Hi, Jesse. I just headed over to Twitter to post my thoughts about this Springsteen commercial, but really, it's a promotional piece for America. It's just really wonderful. And so I get over to Twitter, and there's your post saying, "Hey, give me a call, leave me your thoughts about what Springsteen and Tom Zimney have just done." And of course, appropriately enough, here in North Jersey, the snow is falling quite heavily. So, first of all, Tom Zimney is such a talented man. As often is the case, the longer somebody does their craft, the more masterful they become at it, and the more it becomes them. And Tom Zimney is just peaking in his work with Mr. Springsteen. And there's just this intuitiveness that the two of them have. I mean, the footage for this is absolutely stunning. It's poignant, but it's also heart opening. And the narrative, it's just so beautiful. I mean, really, it's about America. When he says we need to meet in the middle and to go to the middle of America, I would like to know more about whose idea this was, because it takes the threads that we're all holding on to so tightly these days, the threads of our democracy and the threads that weave the colors of our flag, and it just helps us weave another strand in the yeah, I'm still having my coffee. I think it's strand. It helps us weave another notch in the fabric of our country with some sort of hopefulness, because this idea of we need to meet in the middle is true. It's true on the most personal level. It's true in our communities, in our cities, in our states, in our local governments, and of course on the national stage. And that's what I'm hopeful for, that the new design for this society we are now recreating and seeing ourselves as important architects of, that we say, yeah, that's it. That's what we want. We want to create something in which we meet in the middle. We bring our differences and we respect each other. We listen to each other and we're civil, and we meet in the middle, because there's so much common ground in the middle. There's more common ground in the middle than on the edges. So it's a wonderful piece. I think Bruce always loves the opportunity to take that cowboy hat from his hand and place it on that head and give it a little tuck down so it's secure. I think he loves any opportunity to have the tip of those boots, in a film reel or in a photograph. But I think one of the most poignant pieces is when he's in the church lighting a candle. There's something about.
As I mentioned, Camille got cut off, but thank you for that. Friend of the podcast, Bill Wolf, had some thoughts to share about the ad. Associate professor and at the Department of Communication and Digital Media at St. Joseph's University. Very passionate Springsteen fan, and had very interesting thoughts to share. He said, and this is, I'm quoting his Twitter with his permission. The line, we just have to remember the very soil we stand on is common ground, which Rolling Stone pulls out in their subheader. The line embodies the American exceptionalism that too often finds its way into Springsteen's work. It also erases the fact that the land he was standing on is stolen land, land that once belonged to the Shawnee people who were forced out of that region and into Indian Territory, now Oklahoma. The land is only seen as common ground if you ignore the truth of what happened to the Shawnee after white Europeans created a situation where continued existence throughout the Shawnee nations was no longer tenable. Second, meeting in the middle. The middle has been used for generations to slow progressive causes, including racial equality, education reform, women's rights, environmental caretaking and justice, LGBTQ rights, healthcare, prison reform, and many others. To advocate for the middle is to acquiesce to those who deny rights and existence and health to millions of people and at the loss of life and environmental protections. The middle has led us to where we are today, which the newsroom touched on. And then he has a clip from the great show, Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom. He continues, the middle is also opposite direction if Springsteen truly wants to see the ra- racial justice he has been advocating so strongly for since his MLK monologue in his Broadway show, and continuing the statements in his From Home to Yours series, especially episode 5. Released in the wake of George Floyd murder. Here's what Springsteen said in closing. We have a choice between chaos or truth, a spiritual, moral, democratic awakening, or becoming a national fall into history with critical issues we refuse to or can't address. Is our American system flexible to make without violence the humane, fundamental changes necessary for a just society? The American story, our story, is in our hands, and may God bless us all. Stay safe, stay well, stay strong. Until we meet again, stay involved and go in peace. Going to the middle will ensure we continue on the path of refusal, moral collapse, and equality. That's why I'm disappointed in this ad. Thank you, Bill, for letting me share that. Powerful words. I, I love your passion. I love your thoughts. Here is frequent guest on the podcast and my lovely friend, Bella Pori's take on the ad.
Hi, Jesse. It's Bella. I saw you were looking for people's reactions to the Springsteen ad, so I wanted to call in. Well, I think it's a really well-made ad. It's very lovely. You know, it's the total Bruce aesthetic we've grown to love over these last few years. I took huge issue with the message. You know, as someone who's on the left, as someone who's a progressive, as someone who's fighting for universal health care and equal rights for gay people and safe and legal abortion, those are issues to me that you kind of can't meet in the middle on. There is no middle between universal health care and, you know, the capitalist exploitative health insurance we have now. There's no middle between equal rights for gay people and not equal rights for gay people. So I think that calling for this bipartisanship, this meeting in the middle, is a tactic that only benefits the right and conservatives, and particularly after the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th, you know, that's just not something I'm willing to do right now. I'm a little disappointed that Bruce endorsed that message, but I'm not surprised because I think a lot of people in his generation are interested in reconciliation and finding common ground. So I understand where he's coming from, but it, you know, frustrates me and I don't agree with it. And Bill Wolf said this on Twitter, but just to flag, you know, he's saying the very soil we stand on is common ground, but it's not. It's stolen land. And if we really want to meet in the middle, one way to start doing that is acknowledging what the United States has done to Native Americans and the genocide that we've perpetuated. That's meeting in the middle. Forcing people to accept that this is common ground and not stolen land is not. So it's not my favorite thing Bruce has ever done, I'll be honest. Thank you so much for collecting thoughts on this, and I can't wait to listen to the episode.
As always, I appreciate your insights and your take on all things, not just Springsteen, but political Bella.
Jesse, it's Aaron the Fisherman cozen out in Las Vegas, and I just loved that Jeep spot. I thought the imagery was beautiful, both the visual imagery and the verbal imagery. I thought it was something that needed to be said and absolutely said by the right person. It was beautiful. It was perfect, as he always is.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate the feedback. And here's one of my best friends, Donna.
Hey, Jesse, it's your old friend Donna. I'm just so grateful that you are opening up the lines and asking for opinions. I think healthy discussion is a great part of the fan base. So that being said, I hope there's still room in the fan base for an appreciation for the art of the ad and the message of the ad, and still wishing he hadn't done it. That's where I'm at. You know, and my opinion might change in 24 hours. Who knows? But my initial thoughts are, I was against calls for unity without accountability, and it feels like a call to meet in the middle is just more of that, more of the same. And it's a beautiful message, beautifully shot. And I just don't think it's my personal view of where the country needs to go. And I think I'd like to thank Bruce because my thoughts are expanded. I feel I'm a more informed individual about my own opinion as a result of something he's done. So I have to thank him for that. He's always pushing the conversation forward. And for once, I can like what he's done without liking everything about it. And that's a new place for me. So maybe I know now what it's like to be a conservative and like his music. I can say I'm so far on the left that it's hard for me to understand why he did this. So thanks again, and good luck to you out there.
And right before I was about to upload the episode, Suzanne Lovett sent me this. My thoughts on the Bruce Jeep ad. Sure, we fans can engage for hours with our encyclopedia knowledge of all things Bruce regarding the history of the sellout issue, but to what end? I prefer to enjoy the spot for what it is, a lovely piece of cinematography and a message of unity. I don't think meeting in the middle means Bruce has abandoned his progressive ideas. Quite the opposite. I think he used it as a metaphor for starting point, as in let's recognize at the bare minimum that we are all citizens of the same country with the same rights and freedoms. He then evokes MLK by speaking of getting to the mountaintop and the progress required on the road ahead. Thank you, Suzanne. A lot of thoughts about a 2-minute ad. I suppose I'm somewhere, pardon the pun, in the middle. I love the ad. I love hearing Bruce's voice, the score, the images used in the ad. I do wish we could get to a place where we were working for a common cause and finding a way to meet in the middle so that we can move forward as a country. To provide universal health care, the ability for all to share their voices via the voters' booth, where women have the right to make a choice about their bodies, where if people were really concerned about unwanted pregnancies, they would support free birth control and better sex education, where we would find a way to support people's right to own a firearm, yet at the same time find a way to make our streets and schools safer, where good police officers are praised and bad police officers are punished, where we don't ask the police to do everything and then not fund them, where everyone has the right to marry and love who they want. I want that country. I want that nation. However, I don't think that both sides of our current political system wants that at all. Republicans are hypocrites. And I'm sorry if that's a broad brush, but they are already attacking Joe Biden for flying to Delaware on Air Force One, saying he is ignoring CDC guidelines. Yet said nothing when Donald Trump flew to Florida every weekend, even during the heights of the pandemic last summer. Our Capitol building was attacked by a mob that was supported and encouraged by Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and Donald Trump. None of them are facing any consequences. True, Trump has been impeached, but you know the Senate will not convict him. We have a member of Congress who berates victims of gun violence, denies 9/11 happens, but more Republicans are against Liz Cheney than they are against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Can a 2-minute ad for Jeep help to heal this nation? Probably not. Look, it divided Springsteen fan base, and everyone knows how loyal, obsessed we are with anything Bruce does. I love the ad. I love the message. We are a flawed, partisan people. And I do wish there was a way for us to be united. And I understand that prayer and that plead of the commercial. I know for me, I will do my best to support good works no matter who fights for it. I will continue to voice my displeasure with my 2 senators from Texas and to my congressman. I will try to love my brothers and sisters and siblings who supported Trump for whatever the reason, but I will not stop pushing and fighting for truth, justice, and equality for all. This train carries saints and sinners. This train carries whores and gamblers. This train carries the brokenhearted. And this train is moving forward. We will continue to work towards that land of hope and dreams. Thank you all for listening and sharing your thoughts. This conversation will continue. I hope we continue to be respectful and loving to one another, and know that all of us, especially under the Springsteen umbrella, are trying to make this a better world. And so let's be kind to each other and understand that all of us are passionate and loving and wants what's best for each other. I love you all. Thank you as always for listening and caring. For now, be safe, be careful, and let's love one another.